how do the Irish recover? Because, and I know they're never going to join the ACC. I know they're never going to join a conference, but it does feel like the answer to being like in the playoff every year is staring them in the face. It's joining the conference that they've beaten everybody 29 games in a row. Like, so what if you lose to to Ohio State? So what? You can still go win the ACC and get in the playoff. Like, I don't get the stubbornness, Mike. Help me.
I mean, they're going to expand the playoff next year.
I know.
It matters. So,
I know.
It's I guess it's one of those things. Like, I'm not against Notre Dame joining a conference, but I also don't want them to do it until it makes sense. And when you're going to start letting 12 teams in next year, Notre Dame's going to be able to lose 2 games starting next season and be able to get in based on their schedule, which, this year does benefit some from the ACC, but I think in general, conference play gets overrated a lot, the strength of schedule conversation. Notre Dame's always played a tough schedule. You look at it and whatever, their quote unquote out of conference has been between this year, SC, what they just went through with Ohio State, and now down the pipe of some of the ACC teams that are going to contribute. But that's never really been an issue, and that to me is the only argument for joining a conference in some minds. So I think their path to the playoffs still maintained, and I just don't think it's going to happen at this point.
I'm Swifties. Your knowledge here is like off the charts a little bit. I'm still caught on Notre Dame. Like, they have no way to get into the playoff this year, and I get it. The thing is going to expand.
What do you mean they have no way this year?
How do they get in this year?
In a year this year,
how do they get in this year?
The rule always in college football is if you're going to lose, in this era, in the 14 playoff, it is if you're going to lose, you lose once, you lose early, you lose close.
Yeah.
Notre Dame lost a game that's going to be considered one of the best in the year. I think I saw NBC. It's the highest rated game they've had in college football since the game of the century, Notre Dame, Florida State in '93. So you lost a barn burner. Everyone watched. Everyone agreed. Notre Dame gave that away. Almost so many opportunities to win it. And we're going to get further and further from that. And then you've got to have opportunities. You got SC coming to South Bend. You got Clemson on the road. You got ranked Duke this week. Louisville's a night game. Notre Dame's going to play 4 straight night games for like the first time ever. People are going to see. And if they rebound and play well, what have you got out there on the other portion?
Yeah, but you can't have a good loss. That can't be a thing.
This is the college football playoff era. We love good losses.
Texas has a win over. I guess what I'm looking at is in years past, we can dismiss the Big 12, right? In years past, we can dismiss the Pac-12. I think that Pac-12 champion is going to get in this year.
Oh, I 100% agree. But
now Texas is in the driver's seat too. I'm just, the SEC champion's getting in, the Big Ten champion's getting in. So where does that leave Notre Dame? Whereas I would argue, and I don't mean to stomp all over here, but I would just argue my central point about Notre Dame, and I get that the math is changing.
Mm-hmm.
They've beaten all of the ACC teams like a freaking drum for the last 6 years.
This is Florida State in the 90s.
Just join the freaking league and you're in every year. Like, make it easy on yourself. Now you got Stanford, you strong arm Stanford into the damn league. Like, but just freaking join.
Again, like, it helps. I get it. It helps the ACC a ton. It would stabilize a lot of things. But, like, at the end of the day, why you want to go here and, be part of a band when you can be a solo act and have things go just as well for you? Like, Notre Dame's made a great place as a solo act. Why would you want to come in and have to share with anybody else or play by anyone else's rules? Mm-hmm. Like, if any other team could do this, they would.
Sure.
That's the bottom line.
I agree with that.
It's just one of those things. So I'm with you that if we hadn't been in an expanded playoff era and this was going to get increasingly tougher for X amount of reasons, sure, that might be something, but there's still a viable route. And even this year, like, the Pac-12, I believe the winner's going to get in, but I'm also worried, like, what does that look like? They all play each other.
Yeah.
Between the middle of October and November, all of the top teams in the Pac-12 are going to play each other. And what have we seen? What has the recent history been? Nothing but cannibalization in that conference. So that's my only thing is, I get it, it's a long shot now. Notre Dame made life a lot harder than it needed to. It had a golden opportunity and they let it slip away. But you're technically not still out of it. And so I guess that's why I look at it and say, like, it's a longer shot than it could have been, but their schedule still lines up. And this year in college football, it's just, there's not a team like Georgia from last year that felt so heads and tails above everybody else that it feels like, oh, we couldn't have something hairy happen as we get into October and November football.